Inside Princess Leonor's historic appearance at the Princess of Asturias Awards eyes. A royal stage. A golden night. Cameras flashing, hearts trembling. But this year, something shifted. The world expected grace. What they got was history. Because on this stage, Princess Leonor didn't just appear, she transformed. And what she did next left Spain holding its breath. The grand doors of the Campoamor Theatre opened to a sea of applause. Oviedo's evening light spilled across the red carpet, gilding the faces of Spain's elite. The 2025 Princess of Asturias Awards, an annual tradition steeped in history, reverence, and national pride. But this time, the air felt different. Every lens turned, every whisper hushed. Because this wasn't just another ceremony. It was Leonor's moment, her defining moment. Princess Leonor of Spain, the future queen, entered not as a symbol, but as herself. Gone was the nervous teenager of years past. In her place stood a woman of grace, confidence, and something deeper, authority. As she walked, her navy gown shimmered under the lights, her posture unshaken, her expression calm yet radiant. The orchestra's opening chords seemed to echo her heartbeat. Behind her, her parents, King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, watched quietly. They had witnessed her growth, her struggles, her training at the military academy. But even they seemed moved by the transformation unfolding before them. Beside them, Infanta Sofía, her younger sister, smiled with pride, a rare, tender moment between royal sisters who had once been separated by duty, now reunited by legacy. Every step Leonor took that evening spoke volumes. Years of preparation had led to this, countless speeches, lessons, and moments of self-doubt hidden from the public eye. But tonight, she wasn't learning anymore. She was leading. The ceremony began, and the audience fell silent as Leonor took the stage. The emblem of the Asturian cross glowed behind her. Her voice, steady, melodic, filled the theater. "Good evening," she began, pausing just long enough to make every listener lean forward. "Tonight, we celebrate excellence, courage, and the enduring spirit of our nation." Her Spanish was crisp, elegant, but more than that, it carried weight. Every sentence landed with intention. She spoke of innovation, of art, of science. But beneath her words was something unspoken, a message of renewal. Of youth stepping into power. Of a monarchy preparing for a future it can no longer delay. This was not just a speech. It was a statement. Outside, in the rain-drenched streets of Oviedo, crowds gathered before giant screens, umbrellas raised. They watched in awe, some waving Spanish flags, others holding handmade signs bearing her name, Leonor, Nuestra Esperanza. Leonor, our hope. Back inside, Queen Letizia wiped away a tear. The camera caught it briefly, but the emotion said more than any statement could. For her, this was more than protocol, it was personal. A mother watching her daughter cross the invisible threshold from child to heir. Then came the moment that would replay across social media for days. As Leonor concluded her speech, she turned toward her father, the king. Their eyes met. He nodded slightly, a subtle gesture of approval and pride. Leonor, for just a heartbeat, allowed herself a small smile. The crowd rose to its feet. Applause thundered. But the story of that night didn't end there. Behind the elegance and the ceremony lay years of preparation and silent struggle. From the corridors of Zarzuela Palace to the training grounds of Zaragoza, Leonor had faced pressure unlike any young royal of her generation. Critics questioned whether she could handle the burden of future queenship. Supporters believed she was Spain's modern hope. Her appearance at the Asturias Awards silenced both extremes. The next morning, Spanish newspapers called it una noche histórica. A historic night. International media echoed the same sentiment. The Washington Post wrote, "Leonor has arrived, not just as Spain's future monarch, but as its moral compass." And yet, what made the moment truly historic wasn't the elegance of her speech, but the humanity within it. She spoke of unity in times of division, of gratitude to those who work unseen, of a Spain built not by power, but by purpose. Her words reached beyond the hall, beyond the cameras. In villages and cities across the nation, people replayed her address. Some called her La Reina del Futuro. Others, La Voz de una Nueva España. The following day, Leonor visited the best Asturian village, as tradition dictates. The rain had stopped, replaced by a soft northern sun. Locals welcomed her with open arms, offering bread, cider, and laughter. Gone were the grand gowns and glittering chandeliers. Here, she wore a simple blazer and flats, her hair tied back. She greeted farmers, children, and elderly villagers with the same grace she had shown on stage. One elderly woman took her hand and said, "Your mother once came here. You are her reflection, but also her evolution." Leonor smiled. "I carry her strength," she replied softly, "and my father's example." That moment captured everything her appearance at the Asturias Awards symbolized. Continuity, but also change. A monarchy not frozen in time, but awakening. And still, questions lingered. Would this new maturity translate into the leadership Spain would one day need? Could she navigate a world of politics, scrutiny, and expectation while preserving her humanity? Each gesture seemed to answer, slowly but confidently, yes. The connection between Leonor and her sister Sofía, once marked by physical distance, appeared renewed. They laughed together on the village path, greeting children and sharing glances filled with sisterly warmth. For the public, it was a powerful image, two young women representing the future, bonded not just by birthright, but by shared purpose. As the sun set over Asturias, Leonor looked out at the mountains that framed her homeland. It was said that she whispered to an aide, "This is where I feel Spain's soul." Later that evening, back at the royal residence, she reportedly spent a quiet dinner with her family. No cameras, no ceremony, just laughter, stories, and reflection. King Felipe toasted to her courage. Queen Letizia, ever the perfectionist, gently teased her about a single line in her speech that she could have delivered more slowly. Leonor laughed, a genuine, youthful laugh. The kind that reminded them she was still 19. Still human. And yet, something had shifted forever. From that night forward, every public appearance would be compared to it. Every future speech would echo back to that one. For the royal family, it marked a turning point, from reign to renewal. Spain had not just watched a princess speak. It had witnessed a queen emerge. But here lies the deeper layer of this story. It wasn't only about Leonor's transformation. It was about Spain's readiness to receive her. For years, the monarchy had struggled to maintain its image amid political storms. Yet on this night, the applause, the emotion, the tears, they revealed a nation willing to believe again. The Asturias Awards have long honored brilliance, but rarely has brilliance been embodied in the person presenting them. Leonor's presence reminded everyone why the institution endures, because symbols matter. Because heritage matters. In her closing words that night, she said something simple, but unforgettable. Each award we give tonight represents the light that guides us forward. I, too, carry that light, and I hope to honor it always. It wasn't just a line. It was a vow. From that moment, her life as a royal heir entered a new phase. Every choice would now echo with meaning. Every word, analyzed. Every silence, interpreted. And yet, she seemed unafraid. Behind palace walls, she continues to prepare, studying politics, languages, and diplomacy. But it's that night in Oviedo that will forever mark the beginning of her public awakening. When historians look back at the reign of Queen Leonor I, they will trace its roots to the 2025 Princess of Asturias Awards. To that poised figure in a navy gown, standing before her people, not as a child of privilege, but as a daughter of Spain. And the people, they will remember the feeling. The applause that wouldn't stop. The tears. The sense that, for the first time in a long while, the future felt safe in royal hands. Inside Princess Leonor's historic appearance, there was more than elegance. There was leadership, empathy, and authenticity, the rare trifecta that defines great monarchs. Perhaps that is why, even as the night ended and the red carpet faded into darkness, one truth remained clear: the crown may rest in her father's keeping, but the nation's heart beats for her. Because on that stage, under the golden lights of Oviedo, Princess Leonor didn't just speak. She claimed her destiny, and in doing so, she reminded all of Spain that the future has a name. And it is hers.